There are some people who make work feel not like a collective, collaborative activity, but a competition, a race where somebody is clawing at your credibility and you have to fight back. I'm Dawn, and this is Have That Talk. And the colleague that I'm talking about is the one who takes credit for all the work, even though they've been part of a team, even though their contribution wasn't as great as they say it is, and even though somebody else did the heavy lifting. They are the ones who put themselves forward as the one who initiated, who led, and who enabled success, these great results. Everybody else in the team knows that that's not true. But the manager, the board members, they see a different story. They see a star employee, a talent worth promoting, worth giving more responsibility, or that extra bonus. Let's talk about how this happens. Nobody says anything about it. And why? Because of the social cost. Being the first person to put up your hand and say, oh, but they weren't there when we made the decision. They were off sick when we did that all-nighter. If you're the one who says that, you stand out. There's a risk of not being seen as a team player. Your manager could interpret your response as being petty, not wanting to share the credit. You're the one who's unsympathetic to the poor colleague who was off sick for 3 weeks. So that's one reason why people don't speak up about it. Another reason why, and this is something that you see in a lot of difficult conversations that we love to avoid, is that saying things out loud brings them into the open. They become something that needs to be discussed, addressed, and resolved. And that is an inconvenience for many people. Why do we have to talk about this? Let's just get on with things. This is slowing down our progress. Stop being so emotional. It's all about the team. But the longer this issue remains unresolved, the deeper it cuts into the soul of the team. Resentment grows. People stop sharing information as freely. People start avoiding each other. And all this has a wider impact on the project, on the progress, and on how the team works together as a whole. So identifying the person who takes more credit than they are due is an important part of management. And there are 3 ways to tackle that: pattern recognition, documentation, and confrontation. Let's start with documentation. And this is just about bringing things out into the open. Usually, when somebody takes credit for work done, they step in as the first person to speak, and they position themselves as the lead or the person who discovered the breakthrough solution. And the only way they're able to get away with it is if the process itself isn't clearly documented. If there's no evidence of the responsibilities or accountabilities, this person can step into the green field and fill it with themselves. So clear documentation is important. And this could be an email after each meeting summarizing the key responsibilities, takeaways, achievements, and next steps. Or it could be one of the key slides in the presentation to management. All these are ways to bring out into the open what work was done under the hood so that nobody can step in and take credit for work that wasn't theirs. And let's move on to confrontation. And by this, I don't mean conflict. What I mean is that in the moment where the person speaks up to take credit, that's where you step in to double check, to ask a follow-up question. Oh, it was you who came up with idea B. What was your thinking when you decided to reject idea A? The person who's just blagging might not be able to clearly reproduce the thought process. The other way to address it is to ask another team member, what is your perspective? Is there anything you'd like to add? Asking the whole team to give the full picture will give you a better understanding of who did what and who actually contributed where. Which brings us to the third point, the pattern recognition. And this is the trickiest one because it requires you as a manager to actually put your finger in the wound and call that colleague out. You said that you initiated this idea, but my understanding is that Sally came up with the approach. In fact, I've noticed that you've been taking credit for a lot of the work that was done by somebody else. And then you just pause and see what happens. And in that pause, that person might respond with some excuses or some defense, or maybe just some confused explanation as to why they might have been misunderstood. All this may come to the surface. You've caught them out. And that's a good thing, because it means that next time they'll know that they won't get away with it. Next time, they'll know that you have your eye on them. Next time, they'll realize that you've noticed and you're not as easy to fool as they'd imagined. So take off your rose-tinted glasses when dealing with this super talent. Have your wits about you and don't be fooled when you go in to have that talk. Okay? I'll see you next time.